This is Lynn Vaccaro here at Infertility Sucks. I really didn't realize this, but my sons, who were the last two that were born after I suffered like 5 miscarriages at 43 and 45, they are now old enough to be doing a bunch of gaming, and I had done some of these videos about over a year ago, and I didn't realize after getting busy with schedules. And Sergio, come here. This is Sergio. He's 11 now. He is my he's the one that came. He's the 8th one. He came at 45. You can have good eggs at 45, and guess what? He's a 6th grader, and he is doing math at an 8th grade level. So that had to be some good egg quality there, and sperm quality. But I had my husband good with supplements and juice. Good boy, buddy. Anyway, that's him. I'll show you Andre in a minute if he comes up. He's my 13-year-old, and he was born at 43. But my whole point is, they're telling me, Mama, you've got more views on your channel than we do, I'm like, really? Yeah, and they're laughing. They're going, oh, when your mom has over 7,000 views and you have like 50. I'm like, what are you talking about? So they told me this, and I'm back here today because I'm like, wow, okay, everybody seems to like this. People are finding me. Good. I'm glad there's ladies out there that wanna look to more holistic, natural ways of becoming pregnant, because it's doable. And if you've heard any of my other, or listened to any of the other videos I made, the medical community makes just tons of money on infertility, and really a lot of it, I'm not saying all of these circumstances aren't needed. The medical community has helped a lot of people gain pregnancies and things like that. However, there's a lot you can do on your own, whether you're doing medical intervention or not, and sometimes you don't even need it, you might find. So with that, I'm back trying to give you some more good information about staying fertile. Most of my work with fertility happened when I was over 40, because I suffered 5 miscarriages after having my 6 healthy girls. I mentioned that in my introductory video. And so I became very focused on improving, with my background in health and wellness and alternative methods and stuff. I became very focused on doing things nutritionally and naturally to gain what turned out to be the 2 boys. Today I'm going to do I'm going to focus on improving egg quality over 40, because that's when after the 6 girls, I turned 40, and it went right into 5 consecutive miscarriages. Improving egg quality over 40. The first thing you gotta realize is that at 40, your digestion will never, ever, one of the reasons we become pregnant at young ages like we do is because, so easily anyway, is because our digestion is at its peak. Just to explain a little bit about digestion, it is the biggest thing your body does for you. It's the hugest thing your body does for you, digestion. And if you think about it, after you eat, now that I'm older, I get tired even after a snack. But after you eat, that's why you're tired, because your body's using insurmountable amounts of energy to break that food down into little tiny particles, so it can get out in from your small intestine into your bloodstream and get delivered to all the various parts of your body. So that's the same with your egg quality. If you want, I mean, if you're serious at 40, you know, many women have had many reasons for either waiting till 40 or, you know, or maybe you just got married or whatever it is, but it is a little more challenging because our digestion is such a key player in it. And that's probably the first and foremost thing you got to understand is your digestion is not what it was at 20 or 30 or even 37. I think at 37, when I looked into my fertility work, when I was first beginning all the research, that was when a lot of medical professionals noticed a lot of changes going on in eggs and things like that, which indicates, you know, right away your digestion is probably taking a turn at that age. So, and it's going to vary between people, sometimes younger, sometimes older, depending on what you've been doing, how toxic you are, or whatever, what kind of work you did that exposed you to various things. But so my point is digestion. Huge. If you're over 40, never underestimate the power of good digestion for your entire body as well as your eggs. But if you're trying to get pregnant, really focus on it and make it a very important part of your daily routine to make sure it is top notch to the best that you can. You know, the ways you can do that. Well, what I kind of started implementing as I was miscarrying and stuff is just eating out of the garden, and many times juicing and using liquid at 40, because getting back to some of the mechanics of digestion, you have cells in your stomach called parietal cells. The parietal cells are what produce hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, you know, that's what you smell when you throw up, and that's that sour stuff, and it will burn you. You know what? If you went into your stomach and left your finger in there for any length of time, it would come up burned, because, especially when you're younger, especially because it is so acidic. I think the way it was explained to me in nutrition classes is, like, say it's like 1.8 acidity, or it's below 2 at its best, the hydrochloric acid. So that's going to mean when you're younger, that's about where you're seeing it. And now between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and it's 10 times less potent. So in between each of those increments, it's actually 10 times less potent. So that's the challenge you have when you're older, and that's what we're trying to overcome. So the best, you want to maintain the easiest venue for your stomach to digest its nutrients and minerals. And the parietal cells put out this huge amount of hydrochloric acid, which is what's pulverizing everything, breaking it down, and getting those tiny things into the bloodstream. But they have to be tiny enough, and if they're not, it's because your acid is a little weaker. So keeping that up, the ways you can keep that up, or make it easier on your digestion for the maximum benefit of your food, is liquid. A lot of times what I started doing is liquefying smoothies, juice. That's where I got into, we had a garden at the time, an organic garden, and I'd get up in the morning and juice parsley, cilantro, beets. I mean, some of the most powerful superfoods. Excuse me. And I would juice all that, slam that down on an empty stomach, because empty stomach for juice, well, juice is very medicinal, for one thing. It's going to detoxify you, especially the beets, carrots, green apples, and a lot of those herbs, parsley, cilantro. It doesn't, for me, I don't like it, but boy, is that a good detox. And if you juice it, juicing is very medicinal, so, and it's liquid, and it's, when you're over 40, you need that liquid for the easier digestion component. So I juiced a lot. And I did tons of smoothies. And that's good for people aging anyway, like even elderly people. Very good for just to maintain their health. But that's going to help you maximize your absorption of your nutrients. So keep that in mind. So you want to do like liquids via the juices and raw food. If you know, raw food that you convert into juices, meaning vegetables, fruits, all of that, is probably, and you do that. I did that like 3 times a day. I had like 3 powerful juices, and you do it on an empty stomach, so you get it doesn't have to work around food and all that, and you get maximize your benefit again, and that will help you. And don't eat for a half hour. Don't eat if you're going to do that. Don't eat for a half hour so your juice can pass through you. Another way to improve your digestion for better egg quality is enzyme supplements, digestive enzymes, especially if you're over 40. I take them now. I'm 56. I take them just to make sure I absorb my cal, mag good, and everything I eat good. I pretty much take them with snacks, and when you're trying to get pregnant like this at this age, let me get the brand I'm gonna show you that I take. It's I think it's the best brand because it has hydrochloric acid in it. This is it. Now Food Super Enzymes. If you look on here, I don't know if you can see it, but they do have hydrochloric acid in there. And, right? Where is it? Yeah, betaine HCI. If you're going to consider taking digestive enzymes, please make sure you don't waste your time on just pancreation. Pancreation is the amylase, protease, and lipase. And your liver or your pancreas puts that out anytime you eat. I want to show my baby here because that's what we're doing. The pancreation, so your amylase is for carbohydrate digestion, protease for protein digestion, lipase for fat digestion, and your pancreas will do that. But again, you're gonna need help at 40, and need a little assistance, and this is the way to go. It also has the betaine hydrochloride, which is what your parietal cells that I was speaking of earlier secrete, and tend to, because we have to use so much energy, or your body has to use so much energy to make that hydrochloric acid. As you age, that just gets harder. So here's your betaine hydrochloride, but this is super enzymes. And they are super. Don't waste your time on. You'll see a lot of digestive enzymes with just the pancreation in them, and maybe some bromelain. We got papain here, and that's good. But make sure you have that betaine hydrochloride. And guess what betaine, by the way, refers to? Beets. Got beets? I did a I did a Facebook thing once just to be funny, and I had just drank some beet juice, and I had the beat mustache.